Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show in which we work through any trailers that came out this week, any release dates, renewals, cancellations. Not as a lot of those right now because it's the summer, and that period's kind of over for the year. But that's something we do talk about, as well as new shows that are in development. And then at the end of the episode, we'll pick our favourite episode of TV of the week. Which this week there's actually choices. I mean, there's one that's obviously going to win, but
there is two choices.
There is choices. I mean, I have three because I still watch Sharp Objects, so I've got three choices.
Oh, okay. Get you.
I know there's TV on this week. What can I say? So that's what we're going to do on the show. So welcome. Get cozy, settle in. If I find the best time to experience this show, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to the audio, is in a bath. Either in a bath or by a roaring fireplace. I feel like the soothing tones of my voice, and then the shrill the shrill and the shrieks of the ginger menace over there is it's a roller coaster of emotions.
I wouldn't recommend near a bath because you might try and throw the electrical device in at some point just to make it stop, and that would not end well for you.
Why are you downplaying our quality here? You
No. Look, I'm starting them low, and then they can be pleasantly surprised by the end.
I'm confident in our ability that I'm going to promise the best hour of YouTube that you have ever watched.
Right, okay. You can oversell. I'll undersell. We should even out.
Barring maybe, that video of the cat barking and then switching to meowing when he realises he's been watched because he's a sneaky cat. Barring that one, the best hour of YouTube.
That's the best piece of YouTube that you can think of.
I just thought of a random video, alright? What do you want from me?
I'd say not cat videos, but that is like half of YouTube, so you are limiting yourself quite a lot if I would take those out.
It's weird, like the platform we're on, just the variety of content. I mean, the one end there's us, then there's cat videos, then there's like other such a weird shit.
There is lots of weird shit.
Gameplay.
You can go down some deep holes on YouTube.
You can. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is news. So first up, we got a premiere date and a trailer for a CB All Access show called Tell Me a Story. This is the one that is written by Kevin Williamson, who most famously wrote the Scream series, the movie specifically. I mean, not the TV show, the series of movies. He also did Dawson's Creek, and he's went on to other things as well.
I actually wasn't sure whether it was referring to Scream the movies or the TV show, because it said Scream in the trailer and then listed a bunch of other TV credits, like I think it was Vampire Diaries and something else.
No, he did the movie. I mean, he may have worked in the show as well, but he definitely did the movies. I know that for a fact. So, but this is going to premiere on October 31st. This is starting on Halloween.
Yeah, they're going for it, aren't they?
They're going for it. It's going to be weekly because that's how CBS All Access do this thing. It's 10 episodes. We did get a trailer. Even though I'm sure we've brought this up before because I recognise the title, I couldn't have told you what this was before I watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's trying to be like a slick, glossy thriller. Like there's crime there. There's kind of some horror-esque stuff a little bit, which I guess is why they're launching on Halloween. But there's like thematic links to fairy tales.
Yeah, they're calling it a modern retelling.
Yeah, because we've got like 3 bank robbers who wear like pig masks, so it's
yeah,
the little piggies.
No, in the description they actually refer to it as a modern day retelling of 3 little pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, and Hansel and Gretel.
And she's banging the werewolf, seemingly. She turns down the red coat.
Oh, that was so cringeworthy.
But she's still banging the werewolf.
Oh god, this looked atrocious.
Atrocious enough that we're definitely doing the first episode.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, come on. The one that the people want it.
Look, we're very busy in October.
That's a good point, we are. I mean, I don't know if we're that busy in the final day of October. By then.
Well, we'll see closer to the time. we don't know yet.
We still owe them Siren. We've not forgotten about Siren, people, we promise.
No, it's just...
But
I've been working at a stupid amount of overtime that has really screwed our schedules.
Yes, things keep getting pushed, and ultimately, it's always the least important thing that we could be doing is the Siren pilot.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's coming out. So yeah, it's doing that thing where it's trying to be edgy and slick, and there's a lot of like dance club scenes, and there's a lot of like flashing lights, and it's like, yeah, you're not as cool as you think you are.
Yeah,
It's basically my thing.
It looked bad, really bad.
It looked pretty bad. I mean, I like the idea of like creepy guys with pig masks on. There's like a shot at the end where they're selling up the horror a little bit. Oh, okay, I can get into this, but unfortunately, it's after 2 minutes of shite that I don't want.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But yeah, if you want us to do the first episode, let it be known. Bully Connor into, because I won't do it myself. I want this to be clear. I recently started, like, with Sharp Objects. I continued that on my own, and I think that's an option that's there if Connor doesn't want to continue something, or there's something that he just flat out is just out of his wheelhouse that it's worth me talking about. I'm not going to hate watch the shite myself, right? That is something that's still two of his.
I just want to point out, when this starts, we are back into regularly watching Arrow. And I kind of hate myself enough already for that.
Yeah. Also, we'll be right by in the middle of Sabrina, I think, at that point as well.
We will, yes.
Yes, that's true. Proper witch show.
No. Which would you rather watch, Sabrina or this?
And we may also be watching Charmed still. I don't know if Charmed ends up being decent.
That's just true.
We may actually still be watching Charmed at that point.
I'd actually forgotten about Charmed.
Yeah, but it's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like my table's vibrating just slightly. Do you know what I think is? I think my computer's pressing against the leg, so when the hard drive is like making its little reading noise, it's actually vibrating through the table. It was just subtle, but it was there. It was there.
All right. I like how you started questioning it like I could answer. Like, is it vibrate? I don't know.
It was hypothetical, all right? I wasn't actually asking you for your input.
Oh, good. But I feel like what's the point of me being here if I'm not going to make a stupid comment about it?
Next up, we get a trailer and a premiere date. And we actually got a teaser for this last week, and we thought it was a cool little teaser, but it didn't really tell us much about it. But this is the Jonah Hill and Emma Stone show called Maniac, which is directed by Cary Fukunaga, who did the first season of True Detective. So that's a lot of names. I mean, I don't really care about Jonah Hill, admittedly, but I like Emma Stone. I like Cary Fukunaga as a director. So I'm like, okay, right, I'm intrigued. Teaser was kind of interesting. So this is the full trailer, it's like 2 minutes or whatever it is. And premiere date is coming on September 21st. It's 10 episodes. Nice time for it. It's actually really nice for our schedule where it's landing. That's nice, because if we keep Jack Ryan, we'll be done with that. But then this is long enough before Connor's got his week off. We're still just praying nothing launches that week.
We are kind of half expecting something. It falls right in line for Netflix's pattern.
Yes, because it's 2 weeks before Sabrina. But no, don't do it, Netflix. Just don't give us anything that week, because we can't. Well, at least we can't do it as a pair. I may have to do it on my own if something launches. So just don't do it, Netflix. Don't do it. Anyway, so full trailer, and maybe I knew this from the news at some point, but I'd forgotten that Justin Theroux was in this, which is cool because I like him.
I think we mentioned it last week when I mentioned, because he wasn't in the trailer, but I mentioned he was there in the description.
Fair enough. It's been a long week. All right, so. We got what this really is, and as much as we knew it was like they had like mental issues and they were doing like
drug trials, we knew that.
At no point, I don't think I remember ever reading, they actually go into like fantasy worlds.
They never once mentioned it. I know they didn't, because they've always been very cagey and really open with what the show is.
Because it's very quirky, and it's like, okay, so Thoreau's this like quirky scientist, mad scientist, and
very quirky.
They're signing up for this ridiculous like trial like experiment stuff at science, and they put them into like an almost Inception like dream world, and they're in there, and because one like he's got a tux on, she's got a fancy dress on, another one it's like like fantasy, and she's like an archer with the long braided hair and the hood. And there's another one, and there's like a bunch of different ones, and it seems to be they keep getting into these like fantasy worlds, and that's going to be a big part of the show, which is interesting because visually, I was already liking the look of the experiment rooms because it looked kind of quirky. But...
And then this just threw it all out the window. And hey, Emma Stone's character says at one point it's some sort of multi-reality brain magic shit. Yeah. I was like, okay, you've sold me.
Yes. And then it also made me laugh a couple of times. Justin Theroux, I don't know who it is that's questioning him, but they're saying, like, how many of your patients have,
Turned out catatonic.
turned out catatonic? He goes, is 0, and there's a pause. He's like, roughly.
Yeah, it was a good chuckle.
Yeah, it made me laugh. It was funny. So, I mean, I was already on board because of who was directing it, and it's an interesting enough idea. But actually seeing this and seeing just how kind of sweet and emotional it seemed to get as it went on, because it seems like they have this connection where they don't want them to find each other in the dream worlds, but they always end up finding each other.
Yeah, there seems to be people like they're teleporting between worlds to get to each other.
Yeah, potential. I see potential in this.
I'm really down for this.
So this is coming September 21st. It's a Netflix original, so you get it on your Netflix on September 21st.
It's usually where they come up.
My point is, everyone has Netflix now, so I'm like, you don't have to go out your way to get any other services. You've already got Netflix, so it's just there. It's easy.
It is now. I feel like there are a lot of competitors now. Don't get me wrong, but Netflix still has just enough brand recognition just to be like, yeah, it's Netflix. Everyone's got Netflix.
Yeah,
Everyone, or if they don't, they've got a family member who they have their password. Everyone has access to Netflix.
If they don't have Netflix, they don't have any streaming services.
Yeah, I feel like you maybe get the rare person who has Hulu for the catch-up element.
Sure.
But not necessarily for the original content, like they might have Netflix.
Of course, we're going to get a comment now from some weirdo who's like, I've got Amazon, Hulu, and Crackle, but I don't know how to have Netflix.
I forgot Crackle existed.
Crackle's actually free. You don't have to actually have it. You just
no. It'll be someone with Stan.
I don't even know if Stan's still going in Australia, because I think Netflix eventually launched in Australia, so I don't know if
They
Stan's...
did, yes. About a year ago, maybe,
Yeah.
two.
I don't know if it's like a competitor now, or if Stan just became redundant. It's like, no one needs Stan now.
I hope it's a competitor.
Stan versus Netflix, oh baby. Alright, so no, Maniac looks good, is the point. And I'll try and remember to put the links to the trailers in the description, but it's only 2 trailers, you can go and find them if not, but Maniac looks good.
It does. It looks very good. I'm excited.
Not to be confused with the very good horror film Maniac, or actually both, because it was remade. There was the original 80s one, which is really grimy in New York and disgusting, and then there's the remake with Elijah Wood from like 2013, which is the same plot but told entirely from the killer's POV. Because the first film followed the killer as well. The killer was the main character. That was kind of its thing. Hence the title Maniac. But the new one with Elijah Wood, I went into that remake not knowing anything. I was right at the theatre because we were just killing tales. Oh, the Maniac remake's playing this yet. And the opening scene was all POV. And he got to the end of the scene and he killed like this victim in the opening scene. I'm like, okay, that was a fun intro scene. Right, what are we doing now? And then the next scene started up in POV and I'm like, is the whole thing going to be this? I was like, oh yeah, I'm into this. And I just told you how sick and depraved I am. But it's really good. It's a really good...
I've had the remake sat on my shelf for about 3 years and not watched it yet. I'm hoping maybe this October I'll get time. But I'm probably not going to.
Oh no, maybe you could. Maybe you should. Maybe we'll do a one-off guest streams episode with Tim's like away getting married. You can.
Yeah.
You can
we'll see if we got time.
We can do Maniac. I don't know. But as I said, I think Tim likes the movie as well, so maybe that'd upset him if he's not there for a movie he likes. I'm making him watch all this shit.
That's the price of getting married.
That's the price. Yes. So just sticking with dates, actually, House of Cards season 6 is going to launch on November 1st. So
yeah, I forgot that was still happening.
So yeah, I think that's 1 week after Sabrina. Yeah.
What did you say the date was? Sorry.
1st of November.
Yeah, it must be 1 week after.
Yeah. Assuming it's Friday, because it usually is.
Yeah.
Because Sabrina's like 26th, I think, October.
Actually, the first of November is a Thursday.
Oh.
I'm assuming it has there's some political reference that is going over my head right now.
It's 2 days after the midterms or whatever.
Yeah, but
Cat.
I don't know. Yeah.
My
Weird.
cat is being a pest.
They always are. That one specifically always is.
The ginger.
Yeah.
There he goes.
But I don't claim it as one of ours. It's a cat. Doesn't count.
You're right. It's better. So, next up, so we had some casting for some DC shows. Most notably, Batwoman was cast, who's going to be in the crossover this year with the various DC shows. And then obviously there's going to be a pilot for a Batwoman show being developed as well at the same time. So, Ruby Rose is going to play Batwoman, who was in John Wick 2. She was in Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Apparently, I never saw that. In Pitch Perfect 3 and in Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage. She's also in The Meg, apparently. So,
so you can see her soon? Now? I don't know. I don't know. Now?
I think it's now. Yeah.
I don't remember. Did we make predictions for that last week on the movie
Yes,
news? I think we did.
We did.
Then it's out now. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, I don't have much of an opinion on her act. I mean, I've seen John Wick 2, but she was very tough looking, which is good because Batwoman should look tough. But her actual acting ability, I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion of. But
as I say, I remember in Pitch Perfect 3, but not really the sort of movie you judge someone's acting ability on. Especially not in a small role like that.
Yeah. I mean, if I was judging Anna Kendrick on, Pitch Perfect, I'd have a really low opinion of her.
Would you?
No, I just want to upset you. Because you've got a really unhealthy Anna Kendrick obsession.
It is not unhealthy.
It is unhealthy.
No, I didn't deny the rest of it. Just the unhealthy part.
I can just see you somehow run into Anna Kendrick. You're with the missus, and you just push your missus away, hand to the face, just pushing her away.
Fine, she knows
to go and talk to Anna Kendrick. And assuming if the conversation somehow goes well for you, I mean, I can't imagine why it would, but somehow it could. It would just be like, yeah, sorry, you dumped. I'm with Anna Kendrick now.
She'll understand.
Anyway, so the other cast that we got was Doom Patrol. Cyborg is going to be in Doom Patrol. We heard that a while ago, but Jovian Wade has been cast in the role, which is notable because it means we'll have a movie and a TV Cyborg at the same time, assuming we ever see Cyborg again. Although I did notice on Twitter today or yesterday, I can't remember the actor's name, but from the movie. Yes. Cyborg from the movie, he put out a tweet. I think because people were maybe assuming, he's only been in the TV show, maybe the movie Cyborg's done. He's like, no, I'm not leaving Cyborg anytime soon. He was reassuring everyone that he's locked in. I mean, I believe he's got contracts for more movies, but that doesn't necessarily mean.
But we don't even have a Justice League 2 announced yet, do we?
We don't. No.
Of all the shite we've got announced from them, we don't have a second Justice League movie where we'd expect to see Cyborg.
I mean, it's technically in rough development in a way that a lot of things were. But do you know what's funny? Actually, I saw this week. The earliest announcement that's still kind of just in the progress of happening for the DC movies is actually The Rock as Black Adam. Do you know when that rumor first came out?
A long ass time ago.
2007. Before Iron Man 1.
That was a crazy long time ago.
Before the MCU even started.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a bit of DC movie news this week, so check out the movie news show in a couple of days for that. But so yeah, we get
fun because I don't actually know what that is yet.
Getting Cyborg. So he's been cast. Cyborg will be alongside. Where are we? Negative Man, Robot Man, Elasti-Woman, and Crazy Jane, led by the mysterious Dr. Niles Calder.
Cool. I don't know this guy, so I can't judge his acting at all.
No, he was in the first Purge that just came out.
Yeah. Did you and Tim do that, or are you
waiting for home video? We went to see the last one when it came out in the theaters, and we're just so indifferent. Yeah, it's just we'll just wait for the home video. It's fine. So yeah, that's that. Speaking of DC, but not actually a DC property, but Gal Gadot is in the next news item. She has been cast. We'd heard about this a while ago. A show based on Hedy Lamarr, a limited series.
Oh, yeah.
And she's in talks to star as Hedy Lamarr, who of course was born in Austria, went on to become one of the most famous American film stars of her generation, appearing in classics as Samson and Delilah, Boomtown, and Come Live With Me. Lamarr was also a celebrated inventor, credited with creating frequency hopping signal during World War II that helped the Allies disrupt radio-controlled torpedoes. So what was funny about this is when this came up is that both Legends of Tomorrow and Timeless did episodes about Hedy Lamarr, and we learned so much about her just between those two episodes. And now all of a sudden,
I'm going to say I learned a lot 2 years before that on the You Must Remember This podcast when they did a series based on her.
Fair enough. I'd heard of her, but I was unfamiliar with her inventing.
They did a few episodes based on her a few years ago.
But she's interesting, obviously very interesting. That's why they're making a movie about her, or a TV show rather.
That's what I was going to say. When do we move to movies?
A limited series. So this is Showtime that are doing this. So it's not formally been picked up, and Showtime are not wanting to talk about it. They're like, no comment. But you know,
But probably that's cool.
so Godot's getting around. Next,
I'm okay for that.
Next up, Paul Rudd. This is a Marvel actor now, Ant-Man. He has been cast in a Netflix comedy series from the directors of Little Miss Sunshine. You have my attention, Netflix. You have my attention. I like that movie a lot.
It's a good movie.
So Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris are helming the new show. It's called Living with Yourself. And Paul Rudd will play dual roles in the series, which follows a man struggling in life who undergoes a new treatment to become a better person. So I'm going to assume that the shitty old version is still kind of hanging around like a ghost and talking to him.
Yeah, maybe it splits him, that sort of thing. Like there's literally two of him.
Yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen. That seems like it could be fun. Dayton and Faris will direct all 8 episodes, so that's cool. So it'll be very consistent, if nothing else. It was created by Timothy Greenberg, who will serve as executive producer and showrunner. So there you go.
I think I like everything about this.
I'm in. Yeah, no, sounds good.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Paul Rudd, he can be hit or miss because he can be in some really shit sometimes. He's not immune to being in some crap comedies that I have no interest in. But you pair him with the directors of Little Miss Sunshine, a movie that I adore.
I think that I'm in. The thing with Paul Rudd as well though is even when he's in shit movies, he's still so likable.
Do you know what's funny actually? I was watching is it Variety or is it Vulture? I don't know. I can't remember which magazine website does this, but they get like some actors from like an upcoming thing to do answer your most googled questions about yourself.
I think it's Variety.
Yeah, and they pull the little strips of paper off, and it's like so it's like Paul Rudd, and it's the predictive text of Google. What people are searching for the most, and he was doing one for Ant-Man with Evangeline Lilly, and he ripped off the little tab, and it said Paul Rudd's first film, and I knew what this was actually, and he's like Halloween 6, and then he paused and went, I can't remember the full name, and then they went on. That really made me laugh. Because I was sitting there going, it's the Curse of Michael Myers. The Curse of Michael Myers.
Of course you knew that. Not only the full name, of course you knew the full name, but of course you knew that was his first movie. Yeah.
Also, no 6 either. Technically, it's just Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. But I'm not going to critique.
6 is accurate when it's the 6th one.
It is the 6th one. No, I mean I casually call it Halloween 6 for short. Sure.
I'm sure many people do.
I'm not faulting them. I'm just While we're on the subject of getting the title wrong, I'm bringing it up. So here's something else you may like the sound of. Apple, well, you don't like the sound of that, but Apple,
no, you're right. I'm out.
I've given a straight-to-series order, a half-hour comedy. It's untitled, from 2 writers, Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day.
God damn it, Apple, you bastards!
2 of It's Always Sunny's,
sellouts.
Founding...
Let's call them what they are.
The founding fathers of It's Always Sunny. The series is set in a video game development studio. McElhenney is going to star in it, as well as write and executive produce alongside Day. So Day doesn't sound like he's going to be in it, but I feel like he'll at least guest star, because why wouldn't he?
Yeah,
because he does that.
He's got a bigger career now.
Yeah, so he's busy with the movies, but he'll come in and do a little guest role probably. But McElhenney will be the star.
I do think it's the reason that of all of them, Day was the one who went the furthest in terms of that stuff.
I mean, I like him the most, so
that's fair. But I feel like he's not the one you'd predict to be like, oh yeah, he's going to be the most successful, right?
Because the movies already have Pretty Boy, so the Dennis. They already have the lame one, so they need a Mac. But every movie needs a whale card.
This is true.
Every movie needs
I can't argue with that.
And what we're going to do with Sweet D? They don't need the Big Bird.
No, you don't. Well, I mean, you usually need someone to insult.
Also, if you don't watch It's Always Sunny, you're going, Big Bird, what? What are you talking about? It's an Always Sunny joke.
If you comment that, someone will just comment with a "shut up, bird."
Yes. Watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia if you want the context for what the Big Bird joke is.
And more importantly, just watch it anyway because it's really good.
And Danny DeVito obviously was a movie star, but he is now just retired. He just does It's Always Sunny because it's fun.
Just because he likes it, basically.
So that's the thing. So Apple's 57th show that they've ordered officially, despite the fact that the service doesn't exist yet.
terrified at this because I don't know, like, what to expect when this is going to come out. Like, are they going to do one show consistently at all times, out the gate with 10 shows? Like, I dread to think what's
I
the
mean,
cost going to be.
if it's binge style, I would hope they just put out one a week, like every Friday or whatever day they pick would be a new
I
show
mean,
day.
we're getting to the point where they're going to be, by the time they launch, they're going to have a show for every week.
Yeah, assuming they're all ready and they don't all just like because what might happen is they'll have a drought for like 3 months and then we'll have like 10 shows ready at once. It's like, okay, pump them all out now.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's weekly, then sure, great.
Yeah. I am a little concerned about what the cost of the service is going to be, given how much they're putting into production.
Yeah, don't know. I mean, I think at the very least they want to be competitive with like Netflix and Amazon.
Yeah, no, that's true. You would think.
I don't think they'll get away with more than that. I know the Disney one's aiming for lower because they see themselves as having less content, so they want to actually try and price it a
That's
little
fair.
bit more.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, Amazon, when they started theirs, it was tied to. I think originally you couldn't get it monthly; it was tied to just the full Prime service, right?
Which is why I never had it because I didn't want to pay for it yearly.
No, that's fair because I was already paying for it yearly anyway, because I'm in their ecosystem with the tablets and shit.
Once they went monthly, that's when I jumped on pretty much.
Right, but I think it was a while where they were just tied to that because they needed that safety net. They couldn't guarantee to fund it entirely on its own, right? At a reasonable price. But now it's kind of found its foot and they've been able to do it monthly. Are Apple just going to swallow some of the costs? I mean, they could. They're definitely rich enough as a company to swallow the costs up front.
Didn't they just become worth $1 trillion? I believe that
Something
was
stupid like that. I think on the Disney service, I know that they've said the Star Wars series that they're doing, the Jon Favreau one. It's going to be 10 episodes, but it's got reportedly has a $100 million budget.
Yeah, it's not the biggest ever, but it's definitely up there.
It's not, but it's respectable given that they've mentioned that they're maybe aiming for a lower price point.
I think that just means less original content, but just it'll be more expensive when they put it out.
That's fair, yeah.
Which if that works for them, that works for them. And I mean they kind of confirmed that it's coming late 2019, but we knew that anyway. That was kind of that's the assumption for a while. And the only other thing they said is it'll launch with Avengers 4 and Captain Marvel, whatever, one of the other big Marvel movies next year. I'm like, all right, so it's not coming out till at least after those Blu-rays are out because
which might be when the deal with Netflix ends, right? Because they did have a deal with Netflix that all the Disney movies and the Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies would go to Netflix within like a year or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I assume that'll be coming to an end if they can put it onto their own service by then.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm sure that'll all be coming to an end. Doesn't affect their TV shows, though, because Netflix that's their Netflix shows.
Yeah, they own those, yeah.
Unless Disney want to try and buy them from them.
I don't think there's any benefit to it.
No, probably not, but I'm just saying that is the only way that it would happen.
Yeah.
Is if they actually just outright buy them from them. But anyway, let's get to the biggest story of the week.
This better not be something shit now. You've said it's definitely something shit.
No, it's generally the biggest story of the week, and it happened like half a day after the last news went up, and it really bugged me.
Okay, I don't actually remember what this is, but I remember talking about it a week ago. I mean, like, oh yeah, of course.
You're gonna be kicking yourself, going, "Why? How could I not remember this?"
Yeah, I know I am. Go on.
Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise is returning in a new series with Sir Patrick Stewart playing the character once again.
Just what was amusing about this, obviously, we recorded this not long after we recorded our latest episode of Star Trek, the original series.
Yes.
And in my mind, I was thinking, oh yeah, we got to talk about that. And then I went, no, we talked about that last week. That was ages ago. We must have done.
No.
And that's why when I was just thinking about this now, I'm like, yeah, I don't recall what this is because I'd already written this off as last week's news.
No, this was like Saturday night or whatever.
It was at a panel, wasn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, we're getting a Picard show which is set after Next Gen. It's set after Nemesis, which was the final movie. It's set like 20-something years later, which makes sense.
It'll take real time.
Cause, Nemesis came out in 2002, so by the time this airs, it'll be almost 20 years probably. So yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
and he's not a captain anymore. Whether that means he's retired or he's like an admiral or whatever, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But it's obviously there's not a lot of details on the plot yet. But just a comment here from there's more, but I'll read you this a little bit from Stewart himself. I will always be very proud to have been part of Star Trek: The Next Generation. But when we wrapped that final movie in the spring of 2002, I truly felt my time with Star Trek had run its natural course. Stewart said. It is, therefore, an unexpected but delightful surprise to find myself excited and invigorated to be returning to Jean-Luc Picard and to explore the new dimensions within him, seeking out a new life for him when I thought that life was over. So he sounds like he's excited about this. Like it's, he's had enough time away from him that it's like exciting to come back and be Picard again.
Yeah. No, I heard saw some interviews with the various presidents of CBS and All Access specifically. Yeah. And they spoke about how they knew that he'd quite publicly said in the past that he was done with the character. And they approached him and, they were skeptical that they'd be able to get him. Apparently it took one conversation with Kurtzman and that was it. He was in.
Interesting.
So whatever he said, because obviously Kurtzman is shepherding the future of the franchise right now.
Yes. He's overseeing all the shows.
Yeah. Whatever he said... Clearly, it's the right things.
Can I say how happy I am that it's finally moving forward? It's not a prequel. It's not a side story set during another show. It's no. This is the furthest in the Trek timeline as far as I know. And even if it's not, even if there was something that was set far in the future that I don't know about, at least in terms of the main characters going forward, this is further ahead. And what's funny about this is that we are like pretty close to finishing the original series on Already Cancelled. If you don't know, we do a show called Already Cancelled where we work our way through old shows, and we're specifically doing Star Trek. And we're actually getting close to the end of season 3 of the original series, which is the end of that show. And then we'll have the 6 movies that happened with the original cast, and then we'll be moving on to Next Gen, which will happen in a few months' time. And I think it's really interesting. I was joking the other day that in about 3 or 4 years they have to announce some sort of Deep Space Nine continuation when we start doing that, just to make it relevant. Because it's really cool that this is happening, and then we'll be reviewing, working our way through Next Gen on the build up to this. How far we get before this show hits, we don't know. But regardless, we'll be covering it regardless, because we just kind of accept that the new Star Trek shows will be covered when they come out. But yeah, I said, not even joking, I said, and apparently the head of All Access confirmed, you told me confirmed this, but when they announced this, I actually said, just in passing, that I think the prime idea for CBS All Access is that to have enough Star Trek shows that they always have one on at any given time in the year, so that you'd have 13 weeks of Discovery, maybe an 8-episode miniseries, and then 13 episodes of Starfleet Academy, and then your 8 episodes of Picard, and that's basically the whole year, and then you can just keep rotating through them. And apparently the head of All Access said, yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, and he wasn't even prompted into that. He said, he sees the franchise with that longevity and variety that it should be on at all times. And of course, from a business side of things, of course you're keeping your subscription going, right? You're keeping those Trekkies locked into that subscription.
Because your Star Trek Discovery fans aren't sticking around for Tell Me a Story.
No, they are not. Not a chance. Do you know what wouldn't surprise me if it prompted this? Is after Discovery ended and the subscriptions were slashed and they went, shit, we need Trek.
Yeah,
we need Trek all the time.
Because even if it's not the biggest audience to get in general, it's a consistent audience that clearly is always going to be there for Trek.
I think, it's a consistent backbone to their service while it grows, right?
So as far as Picard, I mean, I've not seen much of Next Gen. We're going to be working our way through that.
I'm kind of excited. I've not seen any of it. Yeah. I've not seen the movies either.
I have seen the movies though, so I've seen them as Picard. Obviously, Patrick Stewart's very good. So this is really cool. This is exciting Star Trek news, I think. So I'm optimistic, and it does oddly like, we're about to start Next Gen soon, so it makes me more excited for that. I'm like, this is kind of relevant and topical again.
That's the thing. Like we weren't the biggest fans of the first season of Discovery, but it wasn't awful. There was moments of genuine greatness and hope in there.
That was good.
Forward. Bit inconsistent, but Kurtzman, for all his faults that you can have with him over things in the past, he seems to have a handle on the direction. At least it's if nothing else, there seems to be a direction for the franchise for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. So
So he's doing something at least, and I'll give him some trust for now.
yeah, so obviously we've heard murmurs about a Khan miniseries, and we've heard murmurs about a Starfleet Academy. I would count this one as the second officially announced thing, though.
Yeah, because this originally this was rumored at the same time as those other ones. If I recall, we got the original rumor where those came out, that leak stuff. It mentioned being a Picard one, right?
It mentioned, yeah, the possibility that the one was a Picard related thing. It never like specifically said it was the miniseries or
No.
the ongoing series or whatever.
One of those turned out to be true now, so not too much of a leap to think that okay, maybe whoever had this information was accurate and onto something with the others.
Yeah, but the others weren't rumors though, were they?
I thought the Khan one was maybe.
Maybe
I'm misremembering.
I don't know if I seem to recall that they're developing 4 shows. I don't think that was like a rumor as a whole. I think that was
no. I know that the fact they were developing the shows was fact, but I seem to for whatever reason I thought the topic of what they actually were was rumor.
It may have been. It was all from one article, from what I recall, but
it was have been... yeah. But it was quite a while ago now, so it could be misremembering.
So so we're getting a Picard TV show. And they never mentioned limited series, so it sounds like it might be an ongoing thing.
I think at this point I assume so until I'm told otherwise.
Yeah, so
I mean it's not like Patrick Stewart's not done TV. Even recently, he's been doing plenty of TV work. So
what do you think they call it? I want a name guess.
I feel like they either do. They kind of want to keep that next generation there, but go further with it, right? Yeah, like something with that. They want to reference that title in there still, I think, to make it clear it's linked to it.
Star Trek: The Final Generation.
See, I don't think they do that because then they might feel they're locking themselves in.
It was just the first thing I thought of. All right, what do you want?
No, I get you. But you know how you said, "Oh, it's nice to finally see them moving forward." I don't think they want to lock themselves into going, okay, nothing after that.
No, I'm not saying there is nothing after that. I'm just saying it's the best title related to generation I can think of.
No, I get that. It's just an implication, is all.
Yeah, well, Friday the 13th Part 4 was called The Final Chapter, and there's a lot more than 4 of those, so shove it.
Yeah, but were they planning on it being the final one when they made that?
They made the 5th one the following year, so if they did plan it, it didn't.
They changed their mind pretty quickly.
Yeah, it didn't last very long.
Look, horror producers have no standards. What do you want me to say?
I mean, Star Trek V is called The Final Frontier, which sounds pretty finite to me.
See, I don't know. I think in context of Star Trek, where it's space, the final frontier,
it still sounds like the last one, though. Come on. If anything, it's even more so the last one because it sounds like what you call the last thing because that's what's so Star Trek the entire time. You've been saying it the whole time, so you call your last thing that because it's it's a culmination of all of Star Trek.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know. In context, that title's always worked.
I'll name this thing. You're dodging.
I haven't got one clearly, but it's up for someone better than me and you, frankly, to give it a name, and I hope to shit it's not the final generation because then I might have to shoot myself.
I feel like the word generational will be in there somehow. That's what the link's going to be, unless they just go like Star Trek. Like
I feel like you either have to have generation there or you have to have Picard's name in there, right?
I can almost see them just not doing it, and just. Like, let's say he's an admiral now, and the focus is elsewhere, right? Wherever he is. I could see them just picking a name that fits where the focus is. And they just promote it as the Picard one. Have his big bald head.
I think it depends on what the future of the show... Like, is this a case of, okay, Patrick Stewart's coming in, we've got him for 1 season, but ultimately we want him to hand over the reins and start up the next show. So maybe, he is, the main character for the first season, but he kind of passes the torch to whoever, right?
Sure. And I could see that being the case, actually.
No, I could as well.
I could see that totally being what they do. If I mean, what if his thing is Starfleet Academy though? What if like the whole is he's like a lecturer at Starfleet Academy?
We hadn't even considered that. You're right. We were thinking them as separate things.
It could
Um,
be.
it could well be. Yeah, he could be down. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because I think we were always into that show in concept
Oh, it's a
quite a
fine
lot anyway.
concept. Yeah.
But that would be a really nice addition to that.
And that's the sort of thing where you could end up taking a lot of the characters from that and spinning them off into a proper like Star Trek show after a few seasons.
Yeah, this one went on this ship. This one went to that station.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada.
Or even if they don't start new shows, they just pop up in the other shows that are going on because they're already established.
Could be cool.
There's potential there. But yeah, so that was the big news of the week. Is we're getting a Star Trek show with Picard, with Stewart coming back to play the character.
Yes.
So.
And then just expect a lot more Star Trek in the future.
All right, then we'll moving on. We will swift back to Apple, who has secured the rights for a novel from Min Jin Lee. It's called Pachinko. And Pachinko chronicles the hopes and dreams of 4 generations of a Korean immigrant family. The story begins with a forbidden romance and crescendos into a sweeping saga that journeys between Korea, Japan, and America. The novel was featured on the New York Times best-selling. It's one of the best top 10 books of 2017. So it's a recent book. It's a new book.
Okay.
So Soo Hugh will write and executive produce the series in addition to serving as showrunner. Hugh was previously showrunner on season 1 of The Terror, so that's notable. Now, I mean, the premise doesn't sound that exciting to me, but The Terror was good.
It sounds very vague, the premise, though, right? It's just, it's this happened, they go on a journey, it spans these things. It doesn't really tell me anything about any sort of plot.
No. Like, is it a rough journey? Are they sneaking around, or like when is it set exactly? I mean, it's 4 generations, so I assume it's maybe jumping around time. Maybe like you have the first generation back in Korea, then the second one's somewhere else in the journey. And then
I'd assume the last generation's the America ones.
Yeah, unless that's like the mid stop, and then they go back to Japan's the end or whatever.
Maybe, yeah.
Or do they go full circle and the last generation's back at Korea? I don't know.
Could be, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, but
yeah.
I don't want to write it off when I know so little.
I see a lot of intercutting between the different like family timelines. That'd be my guess.
I can see them going for a "This Is Us" sort of thing.
Yeah. I can see that. So that's that. Next up, we have we actually knew about this. Back in December, we got the story that Universal Cable Productions was working on a Slaughterhouse-5 series based on the book. Epics have apparently become attached to it, so that's what it's been developed for, as Epics, as Connor's holding in hiccups. He's got chronic hiccups. In case you don't know that, just in case you're new to the show, you're wondering what is that awful noise. It's just Connor holding a hiccup.
I'm trying.
So, based on Kurt Vonnegut's classic novel of the same name, the project focuses on Billy Pilgrim, a World War II soldier who becomes unstuck in time and travels back and forth through his past, present, and future. The novel explores the idea of predestination versus free will, the impacts of war, as well as the perception of time itself. Somehow, I have never seen or read any version of this, despite the fact that it sounds completely in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm down for a show.
I remember like some kids in school, like when we were all picking separate books from like a pile, like that was one of the books, and I ended up with I think Dracula instead. But
no, it was never an option in my school.
I mean, it wasn't normally, but there was once or twice where it was like, no, okay, here's a selection of books, and you can do a report on.
Yeah, we never got that.
Yeah, I was quite proud of the report I did in Dracula. I got a good grade for that one. But
what to say about Dracula, wasn't there?
I did a piece on the choice to write it through journal entries and letters, like as a narrative structure, and I analysed that, and I got it quite well. You don't care about that though at home. You care about Slaughterhouse-5 is happening, or potentially happening. It's not been greenlit yet, but Epics and UCP are working on it. Next up, Duncan Jones, who of course is the director of Moon and Source Code, yay, and Warcraft, and Mute. Oh.
I get a tiny stab of rage every time I remember that movie exists and I actually watched it.
I love how in this episode we've talked about both Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux, both of whom are in that movie. And
they are, aren't they?
And one of the worst plots ever in that movie as well. But anyway, so Duncan Jones is in talks to direct a TV adaptation of Tony Kent's thriller Killer Intent for TV. So Kent's going to adapt his own novel alongside of a writer's room of established TV talent, according to the statement. Killer Intent is the first in the series of thrillers featuring intelligence agent Joe Dempsey, Irish barrister Michael Devlin, and American television journalist Sarah Truman. So that was all they gave me in the article. So I went to, I think, Wikipedia to get a description of the book, just so we had more to go on. So when an attempted assassination sparks a chain reaction of explosive events across London, Britain's elite security forces seem powerless to stop the chaos threatening to overwhelm the government. As the dark and deadly conspiracy unfolds, three strangers find their fates entwined. Joe Dempsey, a deadly military intelligence officer, Sarah Truman, a CNN reporter determined to get her headline, and Michael Devlin, a Belfast-born criminal barrister with a secret past. As the circle of those they can trust grows smaller, Dempsey, Devlin and Truman are forced to work in the shadows, caught in a life-or-death race against the clock before the terrible plot can consume them all.
Okay, sounds a bit generic.
It sounds a bit generic. I think the interesting part for me is these three like sort of randomly different characters who all end up having to work together somehow.
Yeah.
I can see potential there.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not willing to jump right in, but it could be good. I think the problem is that a lot of things that I say, sounds generic, done with the right, style and talent, can be very good.
Yeah, and there was a time when I had jumped on something just because Duncan Jones was doing it. Now I'm a bit more apprehensive. I mean, I'd still be curious enough to check it out, but I wouldn't be excited about it now. Now I'm like, well, he might be back on top form.
It's crazy given how much we both love Moon and like source code a lot.
Now, to be fair, this is not him writing this, so arguably he comes in.
Can't screw it up that much.
Yeah, because all he did. He wrote Moon. He wrote in source code. He wrote the ones we love, but he also wrote Mute, which was,
awful, a mess.
Yes.
Go check out that ranting, raging review that we did.
Oh yeah, we tore that thing to shreds.
We really did.
Anyway, guys, that was the last news article. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I usually tell you, but I didn't realize
that was a really
one.
abrupt ending. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the last one. Usually I'd say, and finally on the news this week, but I didn't realize it was the last one. So, there you go. That's this week's TV news. And at this point in the show, we pick our favorite episode of new TV of the week. So, we did have a Sharp Objects, which I do on my own now. We did have a Castle Rock, which is a pretty solid episode. But of course, the winner is Better Call Saul, but the premiere which happened this week because it was fantastic and Saul is off the charts crazy good.
Yeah, I don't even know why I just to check what did we cover this week. I don't know why I bothered. It was going to be Saul that won no matter what.
So here's the thing. I feel bad for Saul in a way, because it always seems to come up third or fourth in our end of year top 10, because there keeps being like
just a couple of things that just do something, right?
Because Twin Peaks was last year, of course. Mr. Robot often fares quite well, but here's the thing: like, I feel like in terms of consistency, in terms of just overall quality and direction, acting, pacing, it is legitimately one of the very best things on TV right now.
Yeah, I think the problem is there's usually just a couple of things that have an extra spark that go above and beyond, right? But Saul is so consistent.
See, I don't know if I even agree above and beyond. I don't know if I even agree with that sentiment.
No?
I don't think I do. I think there's talent in what Saul consistently does.
Oh, there is. Absolutely. I'm not denying that.
And I'm just saying that this year might be the year it gets to take the prize at the end of the year. Now, admittedly, there's no Twin Peaks, and Mr. Robot's lately going to skip the year because it's later on than normal.
But it's actually got its work cut out for it, because look at like the year that Expanse had, for example.
Expanse had a great year, yeah.
Like Expanse versus maybe season 3 of Better Call Saul. Yeah, okay, sure, I'd probably take Saul. But I mean, we don't know what season 4 is going to be just yet. As much as we say it's so consistent and it's been improving, there's no guarantee.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel like this year
might be its year. Yeah.
It might be its year, but we'll see.
I feel be apprehensive whatever Netflix throws in the back half of the year.
Yeah,
A challenger could arise.
Yeah, like they've not had like a lot of big things this year that could really challenge for best. I mean, we had a lot of fun with Lost in Space, and but you know, Maniac could be a dark horse.
Maniac could, yeah, given that trailer, I'm like, okay, that has potential.
I don't know if Sabrina could get up that high. Sabrina seems like it'd be more of a fun show, but
yeah, but you never know.
But you never know. What we've not had from Netflix this year yet is a Dark or a Mindhunter or an Away. If we're still waiting season 2, so we should have an Away this year. Hopefully.
But yeah, but even just in concept, that kind of came at the end of the year. And was like, damn, this was really good.
So we'll see what else they throw at us. But anyway, so that brings an end to the show. That is this week's TV news. So let us know what you thought of the news this week in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. It's worth promoting a couple of things. Obviously, Reviews of Saul, which should be on time this week. We had to delay it by a day this past week, but it should be on time sometime on Tuesday night this week. So you have that coming this week. There'll be more Castle Rock. I'll be doing the next Sharp Objects. I do want to mention, obviously, we do Star Trek every week. I just started a new, already cancelled on my own, called for Babylon 5, the sci-fi show from the 90s. A lot of support for that so far. There's been a lot of comments, people who are fans of the show, who watch our content anyway. They're not new people, but so if you're interested in watching that along with me once per week, you can check that out and have a look if you're into like science fiction and stuff. That's the TV news, guys. Get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You can support us over there, even for $1 a month, which is a huge help. You get some stuff early. You get they already cancelled early, and then there's more stuff, of course, up above that. At the $1 tier, you actually get the exclusive show, Almost Cancelled Extra /1.21 extra. They alternate month to month which one you get. There'll be an Almost Cancelled Extra sometime later this month on a topic, a TV topic of some kind, where we just sit down and talk about whatever the topic is. The first one we did 2 months ago was about renewals and cancellations and the cycle of the TV ordering.
Topic for this one is yet to be determined, so get your suggestions in.
You can suggest stuff, yes, absolutely. So you can do that, and of course, if you can't support us on Patreon, don't worry about it too much. You can, of course, support us by liking, subscribing, commenting, turn off your ad block, watch the ads on YouTube, let them play. As annoying as that may be, it does actually help a lot. So consider doing that.
Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified when the TV reviews go up.
But that is us. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?